Thank you for giving us the time to present this imperative issue today through this video. Your support in our call to action is key to our mission and the betterment of the planet as a whole. Best Buy provides a vast amount of products to society, whether it be with technology, kitchen appliances, outdoor furniture, and more. It is one of the pioneering industry leaders in trying to improve e-waste management. Best Buy's business model and strategy has been constantly adjusted, striving to become more sustainable. While many companies focus solely on profits and the ownership theory, Best Buy has and needs to continue to follow the stakeholder theory, focusing on making profits, creating value for stakeholders, and a greater return to society as a whole. Best Buy has partnered with different companies to provide energy-efficient technologies to reduce its environment footprint. Though there are many current initiatives in improving water issues in their business model, Best Buy also needs to consider this as an imperative issue because of the numerous baffling statistics which portray the urgency we need to address Sustainable Development Goal number 14. Ultimately, Best Buy must continue their efforts to become eco-friendly, but not only with their technology, but coming up with a packaging plan to reduce waste that could end up in the oceans. Best Buy has received numerous prestigious awards because of its many accomplishments in the sustainability movement, including 6th on the Newsweek Green Rankings, 3rd on Barron's Most Sustainable Companies, and Dow Jones Sustainability Index. Some of the initiatives that Best Buy have promoted include 1. Promoting eco-labels that have energy savings was more than 580 million pounds of carbon dioxide emissions avoidance. 2. More sustainable technology, including smart thermostats, smart lighting, smart irrigation, and energy tracking and control. 3. Heightened awareness about potentially hazardous chemicals in products, to which Best Buy is actively working to eliminating this and providing safer alternatives.
Best Buy has actively identified that water use is a problem. They've even written detailed reports on their current usage and initiatives for the success in achieving the 14th Sustainable Development Goal. Currently, Best Buy uses 1.2 million cubic meters of water across all their U.S. operations, but this has actually significantly decreased over the years. Back in 2014, Best Buy was using 1.5 million cubic meters of water in all their U.S. operations. In 2015 and 16, this number decreased to 1.4 until eventually hitting in 2017 the current usage of 1.2 million cubic meters. This has been done through changes in building design, operational monitoring, and usage reduction programs, but we still believe that there can be more emphasis on these initiatives and similar initiatives in the future.
The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 14 is critical to addressing the increasing degradation of the world's natural environment. Recent estimations have revealed that over 1.4 billion pounds of trash are dumped into the ocean each year, creating ocean gyres such as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a plastic island that is over 4 times the size of Texas. Best Buy contributes to this in the 32,860 pounds of hazardous waste volume and 98 million pounds of non-hazardous waste that goes into landfills annually, affecting our oceans tremendously. In terms of statistics on the state of our oceans, current levels of acidity have increased by 26% since the start of the Industrial Revolution. Without the necessary focus, coastal eutrophication is expected to increase in 20% of large marine ecosystems by 2050. The issue of ocean deterioration is becoming increasingly legitimate, and the resolve to improving the situation is becoming more urgent. As much as 40% of the ocean is heavily affected by pollution, depleted fisheries, loss of coastal habitats, and other human activities. Thus, we call all of you on Best Buy's board to not only continue your pioneering efforts in sustainability, but amplify them by joining the efforts of SDG 14. Since Best Buy's business activities also rely on water, through many sustainability initiatives, we are confident that actions taken will not only be beneficial to the world at large, but also profitable to our business model as shown by our stakeholder analysis.
The first stakeholder we've identified to be salient is youth. One of the main forces that shapes businesses across industries is the growing emphasis on ethical values, something youth are very aware of. The idea of corporate social responsibility is becoming increasingly legitimate and salient in our society. After analyzing the customer segmentation of Best Buy, their main customer segment is tech lovers, people who want to shop somewhere where the latest trends and products are readily available. This tends to be millennials, a population segment that is very much in trend with what's going on in the tech world. Their expectations and demands, because of their standing as market and external stakeholders, impact and affect the company tremendously. And by maximizing the positive interactions they have with Best Buy, the better it does for the future. According to a Forbes study, 87% of American youth will purchase a product because a company advocated for an issue they cared about. One of the main attractions to Best Buy for this customer segment is its marriage between technology and corporate social responsibility. Thus, along with Best Buy's current waste management, if Best Buy can also focus on their negative impact that the products can have on oceans, this would strengthen the relationship and the demands from the customer base. Their main forms of power come from the economic power from purchasing products, and this contributes directly to their revenue streams and ultimately their bottom line. Due to the vast number of people that this customer segment holds, their relevance increases. Thus, if youth deem an issue unmet, such as not enough initiatives going towards SDG 14, they will be able to increase the legitimacy if they boycott the product or join a coalition as a segment as a whole, and the urgency to solve the issue, increasing their saliency tremendously and could potentially affect Best Buy by a lot.
A second stakeholder in Best Buy's operations is the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency. They represent an external, non-market shareholder perspective, primarily concerned with studying the effects of society on the environment and imposing environmental regulations. The EPA has a unique stakeholder position. They are not inherently salient, despite being an established government agency. The EPA's low salience can be explained through its reliance on Congress. The EPA's power is its ability to write and enforce regulations. However, the agency can only do so after Congress has passed a related law and granted authority to the EPA. Furthermore, the EPA's urgency is tethered to the urgency of Congress to tackle issues relating to climate change. Regardless of how much the EPA wants to push their ideas forward, they are oftentimes solely dependent on Congress sharing this same urgency. Recently, Congresses have not shared this same interest. Finally, their legitimacy is heightened by their existence as a government authority, but once again mitigated by their inability to exercise their authority on their own accord.
Currently, the customer base may not be as salient as having voting power, but they can become a lot stronger. If customers feel as though Best Buy's initiatives to reduce water waste are insufficient, they can form a powerful coalition through protests with organizations such as the EPA. This initiative will benefit this coalition because of their sustainability focus and belief in corporate social responsibility, especially when it focuses on 70% of our world. In isolation, they might not have high power and thus saliency, but together they have a very strong informational and economic power which can sway policy a lot through legal repercussions such as lawsuits and bad press. This situation, however, is unlikely, as the coalition's goals would fall directly in line with Best Buy's commitment to having a positive impact on the world, as stated in the company's Renew Blue campaign. Consequently, the natural coalition includes the three stated stakeholders, Best Buy, consumers, and the EPA, as all three have a common vested interest in protecting the environment. If all stakeholders are in agreement, it's difficult for the coalition to be effective as there's no opposition in thought. It's important, however, for Best Buy to maintain its proactive approach to reducing the company's carbon footprint so as to maintain current levels of salience among stakeholders.
Best Buy needs to continue to seek to meet the current needs of its stakeholders and the world as a whole while keeping in mind the necessity to meet the needs of the future. Through this call of action to you, the board of Best Buy, we hope that through Best Buy's focus on the 14th Sustainable Development Goal, this can be achieved. This can be done through implementing more water-saving and waste management technologies and initiatives and amplifying current initiatives to make a bigger impact. Ultimately, this all translates to two major benefits. The first is the overall benefit to society. The second is helping the business model, as our stakeholders analysis demonstrated. Our stakeholders have deemed SDG 14 as important, and thus will more likely to buy Best Buy products if Best Buy contributes to these initiatives. Overall, Best Buy needs to keep in mind to balance the tensions between today's business and tomorrow's opportunity and make sure to manage social expectation while growing their overall business. This can be done through value preservation, as shown by the stakeholders management, and value creation, as shown by the water initiatives. It is key to have a balanced, sustainable value proposition portfolio to make sure that the needs internally, externally, today, and tomorrow are accounted for. SDG 14 will help directly with Best Buy's external and tomorrow quadrants by contributing to its growth, path, and trajectory.